Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching me from. My name is Linda and welcome back to my channel. So, today I want us to talk about faith, because faith is so important in this world, in the spirit world, and any other world. We need faith. So let us start with the definition of faith. What comes to your mind when you hear the word faith? Faith is the conviction you have about something. It can be positive, it can be negative, it can be either of that. So that means faith is the conviction you are having on this thing you believe in. In our case, as Christians, faith is the conviction we have about God. The conviction we have about our God. Remember, faith and believing are different. When you believe, it doesn't necessarily mean you have faith, because you first believe and now faith is imparted later. Meaning, number one key for you to have faith is you have to believe first, because you cannot have faith in something you have not believed on yet. Meaning, you have to believe first, and then now faith is imparted on it. Remember, faith is a law in the spirit. When I say this, I mean that faith is something that we need it. Everybody needs it. Even the devil needs faith to do his actions. He needs to have faith in it. Same to wizards, witches, they need faith. Just that their faith is kind of different with our own as Christians, because as we believe in God, we have faith in God, and they have faith in their own things that they believe in. But the bottom line is, in all these things, faith must be applied. So what am I saying? I'm saying that you need faith to control things in this world. You need faith to control things in the spiritual world. Do you know that even in the spiritual world, faith is a currency? It can be used to buy things in the spiritual world. We use faith to buy things. We use faith to purchase things. We use faith to demand things in the spiritual realm. The reason why I chose this topic today is because I've seen many Christians, ever since they got born again, they don't care whether they grow in faith. They just believe in God. They say they have faith and that's it. But from their actions and everything they do, it doesn't show that they believe in God. Yes, they could be believing in God, but there are a lot of doubts in their lives. Remember, the Bible said, without faith, it is impossible to please God. When you look at the Bible, you'll find that in many cases, anytime faith was practiced, God was so happy. This means God likes people who have faith in Him. And that's the reason why He has told us many times in the Bible to have faith in Him. I want you to start having faith now. Do you know there are different levels of faith? You can move from one level to the next. I don't know what level you are right now in your faith. Remember Abraham, he was called the father of faith because his faith was in a higher level. That's why he was named the father of faith. Jesus said, if you can have a small faith like a mustard seed, he told the disciples, you can even tell this mountain move and it will move. That tells us there are levels of faith. So, I want you to know, to work on your faith today. Believe in God. Trust Him. He can do everything. He can do everything to you. Everything that you want. You only need to have faith. As Christians, we live by faith. It's a necessity in our Christian life. We cannot live without faith. We trust God. We believe in Him. We need Him. We live by faith. Everyday life, we live by faith. Even you sitting there and watching, I know you have programmed yourself for tomorrow or maybe next week, things that you're going to do. That is faith. You live by faith. The problem with us nowadays, Christians, is that we are full of what ifs. You want to start something, example, you want to start a business, you start by what if I start a business and it doesn't go the way I want. You ask yourself, what if I get into marriage and it doesn't go the way I want? What if I get a loan from the bank and I'm not able to pay it back? What if I get pregnant and I get miscarriage or I lose the baby? What if I start a church and I don't have members fail to come? What if I lose my job? So people are full of doubts, what ifs. Let me ask you, when you're asking yourself this kind of questions, what if you start this and it doesn't go well? Where is God in all these things? Where do you put God in all these doubts? Do you know the kind of God we are serving? Do you know His power and might? Do you remember the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? When they were thrown in the furnace of fire, the fire was even made 10 times hotter than it was. And the 3 men were thrown there. They still had their faith in God. They even said, we will not bow down, but we will still have faith in God. Even if He doesn't save us, we don't care. That same God they had hope in and they believed in saved them from the fire. Do you believe this? Do you remember the story of Daniel when he was thrown in the den of lions? Lions, you know lions? And the lions did not attack him. What does that tell you about God? What comes to your mind about this God we are talking about? Do you now see His power? Do you see His might? Do you see how strong He is? How He can be able to save you when you have faith in Him? That is the same God you are asking today. Where will your rent come from? Where will your husband come from? Where will money come from? What is all this compared to what He did in those years? You only need to have faith. If you can remember the story of Noah, when God told him to build the ark, it took him 100 years to build the ark. He started building. He had faith in God, even though there was no sign of rain, but he still built the ark. People were laughing, saying, why are you building? There are no signs of rain. Why are you building? But he had his faith in God. What does this show us? It shows that faith is believing in God even when there is no sign. Even when there are no signs at all, you still believe in God. You might be believing in God for a husband, yet you don't have even anybody dating you, but you still believe that you're going to get married. That is faith. Faith is believing when there are no signs. There's nothing like... In fact, let me tell you, things of God looks foolishness to the world. You might be believing in something and people of the world, they see you as a fool because to them it doesn't make sense. Same to this kind of faith I'm talking about. When there are no signs at all of anything happening, you might have problem with your womb, but it was removed permanently, and you still believe that you're going to have a child. There is no sign. That is faith. Let me tell you, that you tried a business and it failed, do not give up. That you tried marriage and it did not work, do not give up. Successful people rise up even after falling. You have to continue believing in God. Start from Pick up yourself from where you fell and start up again. That is faith. Faith is believing in God even when things are not happening the way they should. That is still faith. You believe in God for something, but it's not coming through. Yet, you still believe in God. That is faith. It doesn't have to be that day. You might pray this year, next year is still not coming through. You have to wait. Like Noah waited for 100 years for rain to come, but he never gave up. Some things to happen, it takes time. Remember the story of the fig tree? When Jesus cast it, did it dry the same day? No, it didn't. When Jesus came the second day, he found it dried. This shows that not everything you pray for that time will happen. Some will have to wait until later date. Just don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep trusting God, and everything will go according to your will. Let me tell you something. Do you remember the story of Peter when Jesus told him to walk on water? When he told Jesus, if you are truly Jesus, tell me to come and I will come. And Jesus told him, come. He started going. He walked on water. But in the middle of his walking on water, he started doubting. Am I really the one walking on water? And what happened next? He started sinking. That has happened to many Christians, and is still happening. You start something with faith, with high hopes, with high faith. Then in the middle, you start doubting. And that is now where you start sinking. Remember, the opposite of faith is fear. The Bible tells us clearly, for God does not give us the spirit of fear, but he gives us the spirit of love, self-control, patience. Fear is from the devil. So the moment you don't have faith, then that means you have fear. You have fear in you. Fear will come in. Fear will take all over your life. And there's nothing, it's so bad to live in fear. Because the moment fear starts coming in, that's the devil. You start thinking of negative things. What if I get married and I lose my husband? I become a widow. You start thinking of such things. What if I marry and I lose my wife? I become a widow. What if I get children and they die? What if I get sacked from my job? All these are fears. And do you know, the moment you start nurturing this kind of fear, they usually come to manifest. Do you know that? Because the moment you are giving it time, the moment you give it place in your heart, the fear in you, this is the devil. And it starts molding out, it molds. The devil will say, oh, so she fears this. Then that is what he will use to attack you. The same devil will use that to attack you. So never give place to fear. Never fear anything. Replace it with faith. Trust in God. Anytime fear comes in, I don't know the kind of fear you have right now, just cast it out. Tell God, I know you're above everything, and everything will be okay. Fight that spirit of fear, because it is from the devil. Now, let me tell you something. I want you to, from today on, choose what to believe in. Don't believe in everything you are told. Don't believe in superstitions. Don't believe in traditions. Because when you believe in these kind of things, you are told, when you get married to somebody whose husband had died, you will also die. That's a belief. When you believe in that thing, when you have faith in it, it's going to happen. So don't believe such things. Take yourself out of such kind of beliefs. Don't believe them. These are the ways that the devil is using to attack people. Refuse to be called names that are not yours. Somebody calls you a prostitute. Somebody calls you a name that does not define you. Rebuke that person there. Remember Moses? He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter. He refused. So, By faith, you can refuse to be called certain names. You say, no, that is not me. That one does not define me. Refuse to be given such kind of names. I want you to work on your faith. The Bible tells us, for we live by faith, we walk by faith. And without faith, it is impossible to please God. You cannot please God when you don't have faith in Him. He needs us to just believe and have faith in Him. Just that. And leave the rest to Him. He will do it for you. You just have to trust Him. It doesn't matter how long it takes. It might take years. But never give up. Keep trusting Him. Keep doing your part. And leave the rest to Him. So, that was what I wanted to discuss with you today. As the Spirit leads me about faith. Because even in this world right now, you need faith. In what is coming ahead, you need faith. Start working on your faith right now. Because times are coming ahead that when you don't work on your faith right now, you will not be able to stand them. Temptations that are coming ahead, you will not be able when your faith is down. You will give in everything you're told. You'll be asked, take the mark, you take it. Because your faith cannot help you. Your faith is weak, it cannot help you. Remember the disciples, when what they were going through those days? Some were being stoned. Some were being put on hot, boiling oil. Do you know what it means to be put on a hot oil? What kind of faith was that? Ask yourself now, if somebody asks you today to denounce God or Jesus, will you do it? And that person tells you, if you don't, I'll put you in hot fire. Do you think you can be able to denounce him or not under that condition? Ask yourself that question. And trust me, if you will be able to stand by God, even after being told that you're going to be put on fire, then you have faith. That means you have strong faith. But if you can't, then, my dear, you have to work on your faith. Let your faith control you, because the moment it grows, the moment you can do anything for God, the moment you're even ready to die for God, because you know very well, this is not our home. We are only passing by. The moment you have that kind of faith, the moment your faith grows to that level, you will not fear anything. Even the devil, you will not fear the devil. You'll be able to face him face to face. You will not fear him. Because because the Bible tells us, he that is in me is greater than he that is in the world. Therefore, you'll have no fear at all. You will have no fear at all. Please work on your faith. Work on your faith. I really hope this video was helpful to you. I really pray that everything I talked about, you put it into practice. God will help you. And please remember to subscribe on my channel. Put on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a video, you can be able to watch. Thank you so much. God bless you.